When the noise of the world gets too loud and your mind feels like it's drowning in distractions, when your ambition feels caged behind hesitation and every step forward is slowed by 1,000 invisible chains, that's not a sign you're unworthy. It's a sign you're misaligned. Success doesn't begin with luck, timing, or talent. It begins when a human being gets radically honest with themselves. It begins when the version of you on the outside finally matches the vision burning on the inside. That's called alignment. And not the convenient kind, not the Sunday morning kind. I'm talking about radical alignment, the kind that costs you. Because the next level of your life does not accept partial devotion. It will require everything fake to be stripped away. It will confront every contradiction you've tolerated. It will demand you become the person your destiny demands. This is not the path for the half-hearted. This is not a game for the ones still waiting on someone else's permission. This is for the few who are willing to burn the bridge back to average. For the few who are tired of negotiating with mediocrity. Because the truth is, the reason you feel stuck is because your inner world and outer world are in disagreement. You speak ambition but tolerate comfort. You dream of impact but settle for routine. You crave greatness but live like survival is your only option. The war you're fighting isn't out there, it's within. It's between the you that was shaped by fear and the you that was born for more. And until those two selves collide and one dies, you will always be in conflict. Your energy will be scattered. Your results will be inconsistent. Your peace will be temporary. But when you finally decide, when you stop making deals with delay, when you stop living one life in public and another in private, you tap into something unstoppable. That's the moment destiny stops being a concept and starts becoming your reality. Not because of some magic trick, but because you've finally become one person. The inside matches the outside. The words match the action. The beliefs match the behavior. You don't need more motivation. You need more congruence. You don't need another mentor. You need to become a student of your own truth. Look around you. Most people are addicted to contradiction. They say they want clarity, but keep running from the mirror. They say they want breakthrough, but still cling to the things breaking them. They say they want success, but refuse to let go of the identity that's wired for survival. You cannot rise with weight you were meant to release. You cannot enter the next level with values that belong to the last. You want elevation. Then you must evict everything that's been living in you rent-free. The excuses, the old stories, the need for approval, the habits that soothe you but sabotage you. You think your destiny is waiting on the right timing. It's not. It's waiting on you to stop betraying yourself. Because alignment is not a philosophy, it's a discipline. It's the art of doing what you said you'd do long after the feeling you set it in has disappeared. It's the commitment to truth, even when it costs you comfort, even when it breaks your pride, even when it requires walking alone. Radical alignment is not cute. It's not romantic. It's bloody. It's surgical. It's terrifying. But it's also liberating. Because when you strip away the masks, when you delete the scripts, when you finally say, "I'm done performing," that's when power shows up. Not because you chased it, but because you became it. Don't look for alignment in books. Don't look for it in applause. Look for it in the quiet moments when no one's watching. In the way you handle silence. In the way you keep promises to yourself. In the way you walk away from what's no longer worthy of your energy. The next level is not found. It's unlocked. And the key is called integrity. So if you want the next level, if you're done living in the gap between who you are and who you could be, if you're ready to stop negotiating with doubt, then here's the truth no one wants to tell you. You don't need more potential. You need more alignment. And that starts the moment you stop settling for the version of you that the world accepts. and start becoming the version of you that heaven intended. You were not designed to live fractured. You were not born to wear 10 faces just to survive a world that rewards imitation. You were not meant to filter your truth to fit someone else's comfort zone. You were built with purpose, but purpose only activates when your soul stops hiding behind your image. Radical alignment is the refusal to be two different people. It is the decision to drag every piece of yourself into the same room and command them to agree. That voice in your head, the one whispering, "There's more," that's not imagination. That's instruction. That's your destiny, asking you to stop dimming your light to make others feel okay in the dark. Let them be uncomfortable. Let them misunderstand. Let them call you arrogant when you start protecting your peace. Let them walk away when you stop playing small just to be accepted. This isn't the season to explain your evolution. This is the season to embody it. Because the next level isn't waiting on applause, it's waiting on authenticity. It's waiting on the moment you stop pretending the cost is too high and start realizing the cost of staying stuck is higher. Your identity is a blueprint, but you've been living like it's a prison. You've been trapped in who you had to be, when the calling is asking who you could be. But here's the thing, you can't carry both. You cannot carry your potential in one hand and your excuses in the other. Something has to go, and the decision is yours. Lincoln didn't build legacy by blending in. Carnegie didn't shift history by waiting to feel ready. Ford didn't industrialize the world by checking for permission slips. And Edison didn't light it up by hoping someone else would strike the match. They aligned, not with culture, not with comfort, but with conviction. And that conviction burned so hot, the world eventually had to adapt to their fire. But it all starts with the same thing. One ruthless decision. A decision to stop negotiating with things that drain you. To stop pacifying your insecurity with distractions. To stop managing your image at the expense of your mission. You think you're tired because life is hard? No, you're tired because you keep suppressing the truth. You're exhausted because you keep showing up as a diluted version of yourself. You keep tolerating the old mindset, the half-built boundaries, the almosts, and the maybes. That's why you feel stuck, not because God is silent, not because you lack opportunity, but because your inner world is trying to scream, align, or stay average, and the clock is ticking. Every day you stay misaligned, you train your nervous system to normalize dysfunction. You teach your body that it's okay to feel off. You teach your mind that it's okay to stay confused. You teach your spirit that peace can wait, but alignment doesn't wait. Your future doesn't wait. Your calling doesn't wait. And neither should you. This isn't about becoming someone new. It's about removing everything that's not you. It's about subtracting the masks, the lies, the layers of survival that once kept you safe, but now keep you small. It's about standing in the mirror and saying, I am no longer available for the watered-down version of me. I am no longer accessible to environments that ask me to shrink. I am no longer aligned with anything that makes me question my worth. I will no longer tolerate patterns disguised as loyalty, pain disguised as patience, or fear disguised as strategy. Because the next level doesn't come when you feel worthy. It comes when you decide you are. You're not waiting on favor. You're waiting on alignment. The world may not be ready. Your past may not approve. But the next level doesn't care. It only recognizes one language truth spoken in action, conviction lived out in motion, and identity that refuses to be borrowed from someone else. So strip away the false layers. Burn the backup plan. Silence the voice that says, maybe later. This is not a rehearsal. This is the moment. This is where radical alignment becomes your standard. Not tomorrow. Not next year. Now. Because the next level has already been written. But only the real you can step into it. Let me know when you're ready for the next section. If you're done living stuck, If this stirred something you know you can't ignore, like the video, not for us, but as a signal to yourself that this moment mattered. Drop a comment. Let us know what you're breaking free from. Share it. Someone in your life is silently drowning, waiting for a word like this. And most of all, here is the continuation of the cinematic motivational script titled, "It's not because they don't have the skills. It's because they're loyal to the wrong version of themselves. They are deeply committed to staying the person they had to become to survive, even though that version can't take them where they're called to go." See, alignment will cost you your camouflage. It will force you to stop blending in with broken systems, outdated beliefs, and people who never had the capacity to see you clearly. It will require you to stop shrinking your light to keep the insecure comfortable. It will make you walk away from rooms that feel familiar, but feed your fear. Radical alignment doesn't ask you to be liked. It asks you to be whole. And wholeness is terrifying because it means you can no longer outsource your worth. You can no longer blame your delay on your boss, your parents, or your past. You can no longer pretend you don't know what's inside of you. You do know. You've always known. That vision that won't leave you alone. That voice that echoes at 2 a.m. That pull that won't let you settle. That's your alignment, begging for your obedience. And most people ignore it. They numb it. They hide from it behind productivity, perfectionism, and the applause of people who like them better when they're out of position. But you were never meant to hide. You were meant to walk in the room and shift the atmosphere. You were meant to move differently, speak differently, build differently. You were meant to disrupt the patterns, not participate in them. But that version of you, the one who moves with clarity, courage, and conviction, cannot survive in a body filled with compromise. You can't speak power and tolerate self-betrayal. You can't build destiny while living in denial. You can't live in your assignment while living a lie. That's why it feels so hard right now, because everything not aligned with your future is being exposed. Every fake relationship, every toxic habit, every old narrative you used to need to protect yourself. It's all rising to the surface. And the question is not, can you fix it? The question is, can you release it? Because healing isn't about adding more, it's about letting go of what was never you in the first place. You don't need more books, more plans, more approval. You need agreement, internal, spiritual, unshakable agreement between your values and your behavior, between your calling and your calendar, between what you say you want and what you actually pursue. You say you want peace, but you tolerate chaos. You say you want clarity, but you stay addicted to confusion. You say you want power, but you keep handing yours away for free. And here's the truth, no one wants to say out loud, if you tolerate misalignment long enough, you'll start to think it's normal. You'll start confusing dysfunction with destiny. You'll start mistaking busy for productive. You'll start believing that watered down is the best you can do. But deep down, you know better. You've seen glimpses of who you really are. You've felt the fire that rises when you stop explaining and start executing. You've tasted the clarity that comes when your soul is no longer negotiating with your shadow. And now you're at the edge again. The line is drawn. The invitation is clear. The old you is loud, but the aligned you is louder. And the next level, it's listening. Not to your wish list, but to your willingness. Are you willing to live without the need to be understood? Are you willing to disappoint others so you can finally obey yourself? Are you willing to walk alone for a season so you don't walk in circles for a lifetime? Because the next level doesn't show up to entertain you. It shows up to confront you. It shows up to test if you're loyal to growth or loyal to comfort. And that decision is the fork in the road. That's the moment legacy is either ignited or delayed. You've been circling the mountain long enough. You've rehearsed the excuse long enough. You've played with the fire of almost long enough. Now it's time. Time to tear down the old narrative. Time to align every fiber of your life to the future you say you're called to build. No more fragments. No more pretending. No more waiting for the world to approve what God already ordained. Stand in your truth and don't flinch, because the next level doesn't come to those who dabble. It comes to those who decide. The world doesn't just hand over greatness, it requires proof. Proof that you're serious. Proof that you're ready. Proof that you won't abandon the path the moment it gets dark. And the proof is alignment. Radical alignment isn't about perfection. It's about positioning. Positioning your mind, your habits, your time in full agreement with the outcome you're asking for. You say you want peace, but you tolerate chaos. You say you want excellence, but you compromise with average. You say you want growth, but you cling to comfort. That's not alignment. That's delusion, the most dangerous kind. Because while you're distracted by the noise of the world, the door you've been praying for is already open, but only visible to the version of you that's willing to walk in truth. Alignment strips away every excuse, every victim narrative, every justification for staying small. It asks, are you living in a way that reflects where you're going, or are you still reacting to where you've been? See, you can't fake energy. You can't fake your way into the next level. You either vibrate at that level or you don't. And the universe. It's not fooled by appearances. It's tuned into frequency, and frequency doesn't lie. If your routine is undisciplined, if your circle is draining you, if your thoughts are consumed by doubt, you are out of sync with what you say you want. And if you're out of sync, you're out of reach. Do you think Carnegie built an empire by living out of alignment? Do you think Edison brought light to the world while surrounded by distractions? Do you think Disney painted imagination into reality while tolerating smallness? No, they became giants because their inner world was aligned with their outer pursuit. They didn't wait to feel ready. They aligned and then they moved. Radical alignment is aggressive. It's not passive spirituality. It's not go-with-the-flow fluff. It is a full-bodied, unshakable burn-the-boats decision that says, this is who I am now, and everything that does not belong to this identity must go. It might mean walking away from people who once felt like family. It might mean leaving environments that no longer feed your future. It might mean silence, stillness, separation. But make no mistake, it also means power. When you align, you accelerate. When your actions, thoughts, words, and decisions all point in the same direction, momentum isn't optional. It's inevitable. And guess what? You don't have to beg for favor. You don't have to hustle your way into rooms. You don't have to manipulate outcomes, because what's meant for the aligned version of you will recognize you. Not because of your resume, not because of your followers, not because of your charm, but because of your consistency. Alignment attracts opportunity like a magnet and repels everything that would sabotage it. You don't need more potential. You need more precision. And that starts now, not tomorrow. You've been waiting for permission, for signs, for validation. But the next level doesn't require a map. It requires movement. It requires you to say, I'm done negotiating with my old self, because the next level. It's not just about what you do, it's about what you no longer allow. If you're done living stuck, if this stirred something you know you can't ignore, like the video, not for us, but as a signal to yourself that this moment mattered. Drop a comment. Let us know what you're breaking free from. Share it. Someone in your life is silently drowning, waiting for a word like this. And most of all, you want peace, but keep entertaining drama. You want wealth, but keep justifying broke habits. You want freedom, but keep bowing to fear. How long will you contradict your own calling? You see, the most dangerous war is the one you don't even know you're fighting, the war between who you're becoming and who you refuse to let go of. Radical alignment isn't a cute idea. It's war. It's spiritual warfare. And the battlefield. It's your habits, your decisions, your attitude when no one's watching, your response when life doesn't bend in your favor. Most people aren't blocked because they're unlucky. They're blocked because they're misaligned, asking for one thing while becoming another. You can't pray for rain and curse the clouds. You can't ask for the promise and avoid the process. You can't step into purpose while dragging your past behind you like a trophy. The door you're waiting on won't open until the version of you that fits the key shows up. And let me tell you, the key is integrity. Integrity is when your soul and your strategy finally agree. When your private habits match your public prayers. When the way you do one thing becomes the way you do everything. Because here's the truth. You won't attract what you want, you'll attract what you are. And if what you are is inconsistent, reactive, scattered, afraid, avoidant, then what you'll get isn't resistance from the world. It's reflection. Everything is reflecting your level of alignment. Your relationships, your finances, your energy, your clarity. They're all mirrors. Don't like what you see. Then it's not time to grind harder. It's time to align deeper. And alignment doesn't wait until you feel ready. It demands you move even while afraid. It demands obedience to the vision, not your emotions. Walt Disney was broke, mocked, misunderstood, but he aligned. He kept showing up to the dream while the world told him to grow up. But when you're aligned, nothing external can define you. Because the blueprint is internal. The deeper your alignment, the louder your clarity. And clarity cuts through noise like a sword. Suddenly, the things that used to distract you feel disgusting. The people that used to entertain you feel draining. The habits that once comforted you now feel like betrayal. Because when you elevate, what once fed you starts to starve you. That's how you know you're close. That's how you know the next level is forming. But here's the catch. To reach the next level, something has to die. And it's almost always the part of you that refuses to grow. Your ego, your laziness, your need for control, your addiction to being liked, your attachment to outcomes. It all has to go. Because the next level isn't accessed by doing more, it's accessed by becoming more. So stop trying to upgrade your life with the same software that crashed it. Stop asking for blessings you're not structured to hold. Stop waiting for ease when your assignment requires endurance. You don't need a new plan, you need a new posture. You need to decide that nothing you want is worth more than what you've been called to build. The next level won't negotiate. It won't apologize. It won't lower its frequency to match your distractions. It's either you rise or you stay where you are, surrounded by people who reflect your indecision. Don't you see, you were never stuck. You were just surrounded by what was familiar, not what was right. And familiarity is a thief. It will steal your future and sell it back to you in excuses. It will convince you that survival is enough, that at least I'm not failing is the same as I'm growing. But let me speak something into your soul. Survival is not your birthright. Dominion is. You were not born to tiptoe through life hoping the world doesn't notice you. You were born to move with intention, to carry authority, to walk into rooms and shift atmospheres, not shrink to fit them. But that only happens when you align, when you cut the cords on everything that's pulling you in 17 directions. It means you stop tolerating chaos just because you're comfortable in the noise. It means you start protecting your energy, like it's sacred ground, because it is. It means you walk away from people who drain you no matter how long they've known your name. Alignment is radical because it requires you to disappoint people. And if you can't stomach disappointing them, you'll always disappoint yourself. That's the war. That's the line in the sand between average and ascension. When Thomas Edison failed 10,000 times, he wasn't chasing a light bulb. He was aligned with his belief. His energy was not in the outcome, it was in the identity. He wasn't just trying to create something new. He was becoming someone unstoppable. And that's your calling. Not just to build, but to become. Because the next level is not an event, it's a reflection. It's what shows up when you stop hiding behind your potential and start proving your preparation. Some of you keep asking for a new opportunity while clinging to old mediocrity. But the universe will never reward what you only half commit to. It's waiting for your full alignment. Your mind, your habits, your circle, your schedule, your conversations, your calendar, your conviction. It's not enough to want it. You have to become it. This is why your calling keeps haunting you. Why the dream won't leave you alone. Why you feel frustrated and restless, and like nothing ever fully satisfies. Because destiny won't let you settle. Because the next level is watching who you are when no one is clapping. You say you're waiting on God. But what if God is waiting on your alignment? Not your perfection, your decision. Not your potential, your posture. Because when your soul is aligned with your steps, there is no such thing as impossible. There comes a moment when silence becomes sacred. Not because there's nothing to say, but because what you're becoming is louder than what you're explaining. Alignment doesn't scream. It doesn't beg for permission. It simply walks in truth and lets everything that isn't truth fall away. That's why it hurts. Not because you're doing something wrong, but because you're doing something real. When you start aligning your actions with your highest self, your lowest attachments start panicking. They want you average. They want you agreeable. They want you obedient to their expectations, not to your evolution. But you weren't born to be agreeable. You were born to be undeniable. You were born to walk like David into the field with nothing but a slingshot and certainty, to stare down giants made of generational fear and societal programming, and know that your alignment is stronger than their armor. The next level doesn't ask if you feel ready. It asks if you're willing to be seen becoming. Because alignment doesn't feel like confidence. At first, it feels like shedding. Shedding the noise. Shedding the masks. Shedding the version of you that made everyone else comfortable but kept you small. Ask yourself, are you loyal to who you're becoming? Or are you still negotiating with who you used to be? Because every time you say yes to something that doesn't align, you say no to something that does. And those no's, they compound, they pile up into a life that looks successful on the outside, but feels empty in the middle. That's the quiet crisis of the almost. The person who almost changed, almost committed, almost did something great, but let the fear of misalignment with others outweigh their need for alignment with purpose. You have to decide, not just once, every morning, every moment. Because alignment is not a one-time revelation, it's a daily recalibration. It's when you choose the hard conversation instead of the easy lie. It's when you close the door even when loneliness knocks. It's when you wake up early, train your body, focus your mind. Not because it's easy, but because it's required. Destiny doesn't compromise. It's not running a discount. You either meet it at its level or you miss it altogether. And let's be clear, the next level is not found in the applause. It's forged in the silence. It's built when no one's watching. When you're making decisions not for likes, not for validation, but because your legacy demands it. You don't rise because the world claps for you. You rise because you stop betraying yourself. Because at some point, your soul gets tired of your excuses. At some point, your potential stops waiting for your fear to die. And your future starts asking, are you aligned yet? Or are you still avoiding it? Radical alignment is not a tweak. It's not adjusting the volume on your goals. It's smashing the old frequency and building a new one from silence. It's when you don't just want a new life, you become the person who demands it through action. And that kind of alignment is violent to your comfort. Because nothing whispers louder than the voice of your former self begging you to come back to predictable chaos, to tolerable misery, to smallness that once felt safe. But that voice isn't your truth, it's your trauma. It's the echo of every time you abandoned yourself for acceptance. And now it's time to answer with fire. Alignment says, I no longer need to be understood by those who refuse to grow. I no longer dim the truth just to fit into a room built on lies. I no longer delay my evolution to protect someone else's insecurity. You can't reach the next level while babysitting your past. You can't unlock what's ahead while keeping secrets with what's behind. This is the confrontation. When you realize the weight you're carrying isn't from the climb, it's from the baggage you were never meant to bring. Let it go. Let go of the image. Let go of the identity that came from survival. Let go of that version of you that hustled for love, begged for inclusion, and traded purpose for popularity. Because the next level isn't about becoming something new. It's about unbecoming everything that was never really you. You were always meant for impact. You were always built for fire. You just forgot. You forgot how to roar, how to burn, how to walk like a storm into the rooms that once swallowed your voice. But you're remembering now. And every small act of obedience to your deeper truth is a declaration that the war for your soul has turned. Every boundary you set, every habit you forge, every silence you keep instead of explaining yourself is alignment, sharpening your edge. Because alignment doesn't beg, it doesn't negotiate, it declares. And the next level doesn't require perfection. It requires alignment with the person you're becoming, even while the world still only sees the person you were. So move before you're ready. Move before they approve. Move while your hands still shake. Because purpose doesn't arrive to the perfect version of you, it comes to the aligned version of you. The one who says, I may not have everything, but I'm no longer willing to carry anything that isn't me. You want the next level. Then stop rehearsing and start aligning. Stop editing your truth for approval. Stop waiting for the moment you feel ready, because it never comes. There is no clarity before movement. There is no alignment without sacrifice. And there is no destiny without decision. So this is your moment, not to become more, but to become real. To align so radically with your calling that even your shadow becomes a sermon. So now you know, the door isn't locked. You're just still holding hands with the version of you that can't walk through it. Radical alignment is the price. It will cost your comfort, your approval, your illusions of safety, and every excuse you've clung to just to avoid becoming who you were called to be. But if you let it, if you truly let it, this alignment will build in you a peace that no chaos can touch, a confidence that no applause can inflate, and a fire that no failure can extinguish. You've spent enough time negotiating with mediocrity, enough time explaining your hunger to people still living off crumbs, enough time dressing down your destiny, just to make others feel taller. That ends now. From this moment forward, you walk like you belong in the future you're building. You show up like someone who has already buried what needed to die. You speak, act, move, breathe like someone who understands that the next level doesn't come to those who wait. It comes to those who align. So if something in your spirit is still trembling right now, good. That's your old self convulsing in the face of truth. Don't numb it. Don't run from it. Stand in it. Feel what it's like to finally stop shrinking. Then do one thing today, just one, that radically aligns your actions with who you're becoming. Burn the bridge. Cut the tie. Make the decision. Move the needle. Let them misunderstand you. Because you don't owe anyone comfort with your growth. You owe your calling obedience. And if you're still watching this, it means something inside you already knows. You are done pretending, done delaying, done dimming. You are the interruption in your family's story. You are the pattern breaker, the cycle ender, the aligned one. And now, you don't just believe in your next level, you've already become it. So stand up, wipe your eyes, straighten your spine, because destiny does not wait for those who hesitate. It moves with those who dare to align. Let the old you go, and don't look back.